Welcome to the Wild Medicine Podcast. My name is Tarani, the owner of Earthly.com, a sacred path to inner healing, self-discovery, and creativity. I am an energy healer and professional artist ready to reweave ceremony and heart-centeredness into humanity. Wild Medicine is a podcast to hold sacred space to learn the ancient ways of wellness. We talk about anything from spiritual alchemy to astrology and even trauma transmutation. It is my mission to educate you on the wild medicines of our world and to show you the way to unleash your personal power. This podcast is full of episodes with both just me and plenty of our powerful guests. Each episode we will bring to you the medicines of story, knowledge, and transformation. Now is our divine time to step into the sacred space and to take in all the powerful knowledge that I have for you today. Sit back, relax, and always tune in. Take what you need and leave whatever does not serve you. It is my honor to bring this message forth for you. Please enjoy. Hello there, Wild Medicine listeners. This is Tarani. I hope you guys are all doing so well out there. Thank you for tuning in and choosing to listen to this podcast. Today I am feeling inspired to sit down and just share some talking medicine with you guys. And if I'm in a really beautiful place right now, in my life, in my home, getting ready to embark on a new journey to Austin, Texas. So I will be moving from Houston to Austin, getting a little bit more central in the hill country near the rivers, and it feels really, really good. So yeah, life has been so beautiful and wild, and there's so much going on out there, and I've really come into this beautiful space where the podcast is something that I come through and I come around when I feel inspired, and that is what happened tonight. It's 9:55 p.m. So definitely just feeling inspired to share and to be present in this medicine that comes from our voice. So I was just dancing and had a long day of working and just all the things, and I finally took some time for my evening ritual of winding down and listening to some music, made myself some tea with passion flower and a whole bunch of other beautiful flowers, and my divine guidance flower essence. So you can get this in my shop if you're into receiving some divine guidance. And if you've never worked with flower essences before, they're such a beautiful tool for creating these subtle shifts in our energy fields and our psyche and our magnetic ability to connect and expand in these subtle ways. Essences are amazing. They're vibrational medicine that legit work as a homeopathic medicine and are made as a homeopathic remedy. So they're very powerful. This one is divine guidance. So I like to go to it during times when I'm just seeking guidance. And I really feel like this is a time where I'm like, wow, like divine guidance just pour through me, you know. There's so much going on in the world. There's so much going on out there, so much wildness, and I think we're really in a space of stepping into that rewilding with the fires in California and the heat domes and just all of these expressions of life cleansing. And with the fires, you know, I've really been sitting with it and sending prayers and deep breaths with all of this, because you know, it's got to be so intense. I mean, I've lived in Houston for a few years and lived in Nevada and Colorado before I lived in Texas, and something crazy here that I've experienced would be hurricanes, but the imagining of a fire, my heart just goes so deeply to all of the people out there who have had to evacuate and flee their homes or be in fear of their homes. I'm sending a lot of love there. And it's really wild when these times happen, especially with also big fires going on in our political world, our social world, and the wide variety of global issues that we are facing right now as humans. It can be very, very, very intense, and it can also be very, very beautiful, very, very passionate times. And when this happens, with the past quite a few months, but even over the past couple of years, when I feel that I come into this space of deep change and deep shifting, I notice, some patterns that happen in my life, and what I see happen in my life is this level of uncertainty and shakiness that is deeply corresponded to root chakra blockages and root chakra disharmonies. And so I think that what we can see right now in our world and everything that is happening and shifting and changing and literally burning away in our world, it really comes to this space of uprooting the root chakra, cleansing the root chakra, and forcing us to find balance in our roots, in the foundation of our being. And when this happens, sometimes I'll get into a space of anxiety, or I witness my clients come into a space of anxiety, and it can be hard. It can be either hard or easy to navigate depending on what we're going through. But I find that in these moments where the literally something within our life is being shaken, uprooted, intensified, the best thing that we can do is go to our natural healing practices and back to our pleasure and our bliss and our ability to just sit and breathe with ourselves and send prayers, and using our beautiful energy bodies to come back into harmony and come back into centeredness and a space where our foundation can settle and rebuild. And even as people who aren't in California or other places, there's so many fires going on, even in Colorado and other places where there's been hurricanes. And when this stuff happens, these natural disasters happen, it can be really, really, really difficult to navigate, even as somebody who's not in that physical space where the natural disaster is happening. It can be really hard to know what to do or how to react or anything. And I'm finding along my own journey, the best thing I can do is take some moments and to just breathe and be with myself and connect to that space and breathe with it and begin to hold energy in prayer. And sometimes you can go out and use your physical energy, your activity to help. But if you're far away, the best thing that we can do is send our prayers and do our rituals in honor of these places. And I share this because I know that, it's obvious to see that these natural disasters are going to keep happening as we have entered a time period of deep global change in our environment and the chemistry of the way that our environments work and thrive. It's definitely shifted, and a lot of that is due to degradation. And I'm so excited because next episode that I'm sharing after this one is by a beautiful woman. I'm so excited to share with you guys. And we talk about spiritual activism and really holding in that sense of activism through your sacred practice, and how I really feel that the reason that we are, awakening by the masses right now is to bring back that coherence between human and earth, and awaken into the space where we can dig deep into the dirt and get back to our roots and remember the deep sacred nature of our planet, and to help her as she's going through this change of cleansing and purifying all that no longer serves her. And global environmental crises are happening. I mean, just since I've lived in Houston, which has maybe been about 6 years, I've witnessed, I swear, 5 once every 500 freaking year floods. I'm like, every time there's a flood, everybody's like, yeah, I mean, that just happens once every 500 years or once every 70 years. And I'm just like, wait, but didn't you say that last year? And it's so true. We're seeing this rapid shift in environment, and obviously we can see a lot of symbolism there. And, with Leo being fire season, being a fire sign, it aligns perfectly with fire season, and it's just this crazy space, and we are just getting out of the Leo new moon. That was so wild, such a wild energy that was surging through the planet, and it reminds me of that collie, just stepping on the ground so heavy, shaking things up, burning flames, in that space of rage. And I know it can be really difficult for so many modern people to understand and know how to navigate their rage and navigate their anger and navigate their fierceness. And when we come into a space of spiritual activism, I think we can find that voice a lot better. It's pretty wild to see the world that we're in and be awakened and be aware of all the degradation that happens and all the misconceptions that take place, and just some nasty stuff that goes down and the manipulation. And I think that a lot of people are also in a space where they're just checked out, and they've become numb to being aware of what happens, and how climate change and these global health crises and economic crises, how they really affect our world at a whole and the total wellness of our world. They can get numb to it and check out to it. And I'm in a space where the past couple of years after I finished my time with Long Island University's global program, where I was able to travel in Latin America, learning and focusing and studying how they approach their climate change issues, as well as how they choose to farm in an ecological and agroecological way, and nurture the earth, and kind of have those indigenous teachings in Latin America. It took me a while to really sit with this stuff that I had learned and what I was seeing presently in our modern world, and I've come to understand that, no matter what you're doing, as long as you're doing something, that's what makes the difference. And, we can't shake that awakening up in people. All we can do is bring their heart and their awareness back to the present and into the becoming heart-centered with the earth, creating that heart and earth coherence, that relationship in the individual person. We have to nurture that relationship in order for the masses to connect and be able to recall their own part in the degradation of our planet and the degradation of the wellness of our planet. And I see it, in my life, people becoming more aware and in tune with the wellness of our planet and wanting to make a beautiful contribution to that. And I really firmly believe that the best way we can do that is through our own actions and our own ability to be comfortable in our relationship with the earth and to feed it in a way that is authentic and genuine. And that looks like a lot of different things for, different people. For me, what that looks like is, connecting with my herbal allies and using them as I protect my own system and my own immunity and my own vitality, and connecting with flowers and water and sacred burning of smoke and connecting with the earth in this very shamanic way. Whereas for other people, that might just look like going out and hiking, just going out and being in nature and learning new things about the earth. It looks different for all of us, but as long as we are tending to that relationship, we will inspire others to do the same. And the more that we invite others into their own practice and relationship with the earth, I think the more of a global shift we will see in how we approach the earth. It's really cool. My boyfriend Dash right now is about to do a video shoot with this nonprofit. Their name is, what is their name? Magpies and Peacocks, yes. And they are a Houston nonprofit, a 501c3, that actually is dedicated to creating and upcycling clothes, post-consumer clothes, so things that people have already consumed, and actually getting them from the landfills and to, make these like small batch upcycled collections, art installations, actual clothing and mixed media artworks, and really having this material go towards a way that can help the creative community and as well as help sustainability. And I just thought it was so awesome when he told me about this client that he's working with, and they shared some crazy facts with us that I really didn't even understand about the fashion industry. I mean, a lot of these things that I've heard or I've been aware of fast fashion and just the whole horrible mess that it creates. And some of those ones that I would love to read out to you of points that they gave us is, 1, the fashion industry is one of the planet's largest polluters after the oil industry. 2, we consume a staggering 80 billion pieces of clothing each year. This is up 400% from 2 decades ago. So us as a collective have gone up 400% to 80 billion pieces of clothing each year. That's wild. We currently only recycle 15% of donated clothing, and 85% ends up in landfills or flooding markets in developing countries, killing their local economy. 4, 1 in 6 people work in the global fashion industry. The majority are women earning less than $3 per day in horrible conditions, and also many are children. 5, it takes 715 gallons of water to make just one t-shirt. That's about the amount of water an average person drinks over a 2.5-year period. Wow. Those facts alone, it's so wild. And as somebody who I really feel connected to water, and knowing that over 700 gallons of water are put into just making one t-shirt. And at first when I heard that, I was like, what? Like, no way. But then, when we really think about, the cotton or whatever fabric it's taken to use, like, that's going to take water to grow, and then for it to be processed, and then for it to be dyed, cleaned, printed on, the whole process. Really, when we dig deeper into it, we can see how that dramatic number can add up on average. And, that brings me to, share that one thing that I think is so sacred, and I've been really trying to integrate into my awareness and full-blown consciousness, is being aware of what it takes for something to get to me, especially with my consumerism, right? And I think that that's something that everybody should really think of, as we're consuming, because we're in this world, we have to consume, at least something. And the best way that we can kind of heal that relationship of consumption is being aware of what it takes to trace back that product. And what do you want that path to look like? What are you comfortable with that path looking like? Do you want this t-shirt you got to go through this whole pathway of getting to you that completely enables a system that forces people to work in horrible conditions and for a rate that is so sad, especially compared to how much we're paying for these clothes. And many of them being women and children put in a space where they are dependent on a job that is horrible for them and their health and their vitality, but they're stuck in the cycle because that's what's offered in their part of the world. Like, do you want that in your clothes? Like, right? So that's why it's important to, consume things that are fair trade and are made with integrity and with true awareness of what it takes to get to the consumer and how clean and pure you want that process to be. I work with a CBD brand right now, Hemp Pure CBD, and I love them so much. I've tried a lot of CBD in my journey, and I've been really selective and careful of what I'm consuming. I've had some good experiences. I've had some bad experiences. And when I found this company, or rather they found me through a beautiful synchronicity with my mom, I knew that this is something that I can stand behind because it is a clean product that is made from fresh hemp, which, if you really know anything about CBD and how it's made, is revolutionary. And they actually use, rather than CO2 or ethanol or some kind of chemical that is made into a liquid, in order to soak the CBD and extract it, they use water. And this is able to offer them a pure product that is very rich in its cannabinoids and its terpenes and all of its beautiful chemistry that the cannabis and hemp plant holds. So yeah, right away I was like, yes, I'm down with this. This is something I can stand up behind, especially being CBD being such a potent medicine. It's really important to me that cannabis and any marijuana, everything is practiced with integrity, because I think it is such a sacred plant medicine. But it also has a very thin line of respect and disrespect. And that journey can take you very deep and in a really hard way to get out of, right? So I find that it's really important on how we consume this plant, and make sure that we're doing it with honor, right? So, but yeah, that whole tangent, just wanted to share on how important it is to be aware of what you're consuming and how you're choosing to consume things, and how that connects to, the crises that we're facing right now in our world, and what is actually keeping us in a path of degradation and downhill nature and away from unity, peace, love, healing. And that can go so deep, right? It can go so deep into our lives. Yeah. So yeah, that's a lot that's been on my mind lately, and just really trying to heal my relationship with the world and be aware of my relationship with the world and how it's all piecing together, and what I love about that and what I don't love about that, what I align with and what I don't align with, and not just being like, okay, I don't align with that, I don't like that, and just sitting with it, actually doing something. And no matter what we do, as long as we're doing something in the spirit of love and that's creating good in the world, that is enough. That's what's needed, right? We don't need everybody doing one thing. We need everybody doing something. So what are you going to do, right? What are you going to unfold? What are you going to show up as? How are you going to bring medicine to the world, right? And that doesn't have to just look one way. We all have something to offer this world. We were all born here for a reason. We all have something to offer. For me, that might be prayer and song and nourishment to the earth, right? For you, that may be gardening or picking up trash or signing petitions, voting, being aware of bills that are being passed, using your voice, whatever it looks like. We must do something. Thank you for listening to this little episode with me. I'm wishing so much blessings out there into the world and into you listeners. Thank you for tuning in. I'm working on so much right now, and it just feels good to be in a place where I can intuitively record these podcasts and intuitively connect with folks on this podcast. So thank you for being a listener. And remember, if you want to just tune in with me in your daily reality, you can connect with me on social media with Earthly Energy on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, all the good things. I'm out there. So yeah, if you want to connect, that's where you can connect with me on the daily life. And yeah, just fully letting you know that this podcast is released intuitively. So I only make it when I'm, really, really feeling the vibe and the expression, and like a message is here to unfold for you through me. Such a wild experience to go through. Alrighty, my loves. Sending you Reiki and good energy. If you like what I have to offer through this podcast, if you like my energy, you like my vibe, I invite you to visit my website, earthly.com. I have beautiful essences that I've made, herbal remedies, even virtual workshop experiences that typically I do for donation, as well as blogs and even, one-on-one sessions with me. And soon my Be Your Own Healer course will be out. I've been working on this literally since December, so it's been a long time coming, and it's almost done for you guys. And I've literally feel like I've put the past 8 years of my life into this course, and I'm really excited to offer it to the world. So that's what I'm building. That's what's going down. Also, I am training to be a doula and looking into prenatal yoga and really stepping into this career shift where I can be of service to mamas in a way that can really hopefully bring some healing and change to that world, especially during post-COVID times present COVID times and post-COVID times, because our birthing mothers are only allowed to have one support person in the room in the hospitals right now, which typically is their husband. But if you know anything about birth, it can be very, very, very helpful and much safer to have somebody there with you that's a family member or another support person like a doula there with you at birth and throughout labor, to protect you and guide you and just be there with you. So, I just feel so inspired to learn this offering to the world in a way that I already intuitively feel connected to and know, but then digging deeper and learning more feels really, really good, so that I can offer some healing to that space and some guidance to that space, because I really feel like we need it now, mamas. In this crazy world that we're in, But yeah, so much love. If you're interested in checking out the CBD company that I mentioned in this podcast, I shared my link with them in the show notes. So like I said, I love this CBD. I literally use it daily. It's only 2 ingredients, which is pure full spectrum CBD made in a way that has integrity. And, ooh, that sounded so good, and MCT oil, which offers its own amazing benefits for the body, and it feels so good to ingest. So if you're interested, you can check out my link below, and if you use the code EARTHNY, you'll get free shipping. So much love, guys. I hope that you are good out there, and my heart is with you. My prayers is that we all receive water in these times, no matter where you are. It is hot in, the United States or even Latin America on this side of the world. And so, we need some water out here. So big prayers for water right now. And I invite you to engage in your own prayer or ceremony, calling water to the whole planet. I really feel like let's make it rain. All right, guys. Talk to you on the other side. Blessings. Sat Nam.